U.U.U. What's up, y'all, man? You know your boy done finished up the Iron Maiden marathon. It's been real. Now it's time to rank these bad boys. So I've been sitting around listening to them on shuffle, listening to them in order, listening to them backwards. Nah, not backwards, but y'all get what I'm saying, man. I've been listening to these things all day long, and I'm ready to rank these bad boys, man. I'm gonna do the top five Iron Maiden albums. Y'all ready? Let's get it. All right, kicking things off, coming in at the number 5 spot is Seventh Son of the Seventh Son. This album was a concept album. The guitarist kicked ass, and it sounded good. It was some really good quality production. But at the same time, the cons would be, it was a concept album, and sometimes you're not in the mood for a concept album. Sometimes you just want to rock out. You just want to jam some music, and you don't want to really think too much, man. And there was maybe 2 songs on this thing that, you know, that I skipped on this album. But still, a great album. Still a great album. It just came in at the number 5 spot. All right. Hey, let's keep this thing going, man. Coming in at number 4, we got Power Slave. This, again, was another solid album, man. Hardly any skips. I might have skipped 1 or 2 songs on this thing, man. This album was like a steam train, man, where the songs transition to the next one, keeping up a great momentum. It was just going and going and going and going. You can just put this thing in, let it ride, and this was just a very solid album, man. And it just came in my number 4 spot. Don't mean it was bad, just mean that there's 3 more albums that's better than it. All right, let's keep it going. All right, let's keep this thing going, man. Coming in at number 3, we got Iron Maiden, the self-titled album. This album right here, woo, had so much swag, so much groove, so much flavor. It was sexy, man. It was just so flavorful and cool, man. That album was just cool, man. Laid back, man. I really love that album. Cons, this album, the production was too low. It's like Spotify couldn't get the volume up high enough, or the mixing up right. It was kind of muffled a little bit. So you know, you put this thing on in your car and you turn the volume all the way up, and it still ain't quite loud enough, and you can't quite feel it. That was the only problem I had with this album. But other than that, fantastic album, man. So much swag, so much cool about this thing. It was a rhythm and bluesy type of Iron Maiden, man. I like it. I love it. Let's keep it going. Alright, so here we go, man. Top two. Coming in at my number 2 spot, we got Let It Build. Somewhere in Time. That album right there, flawless. One of the greatest albums I've ever heard in my life, man. That album made your boy want to cry a little bit, man. It was just something about the magic and how it made me feel, man. That album has so much atmosphere, so much passion, so much just magic, man. That album felt good. It just made me smile. It gave me energy, and it gave me electrolytes in my body, man. It made your boy feel good. The production on this thing was A1. I mean, the drumming was so crisp and clear, from the hi-hat to the guitar work, so sharp and crisp to his voice. Everything was clicking on this album from a production standpoint. This was their best production album, actually, man. This album just sonically sounds freaking fantastic, man. I absolutely love this album. This is going down as one of the greatest albums I've ever heard in my life, and it's happened to be their number 2 album for me from Iron Maiden. So tough decisions, man. Tough decision, but I absolutely love this album, and it's my number 2 spot, man. All right. Man, so here we go, man. Coming in at number 1. Wait a minute. I know you guys are like, wait, J-Mal, didn't you just say the last number 2 was one of the greatest albums you've ever heard in your life? What can be better than that, man? They did it twice. How about that? Yes, they did it twice. Iron Maiden has given me 2 of the greatest albums I've ever heard in my life, man. 1 band, 2 albums. Yes, they did it. But anyway, man, coming in at my number 1 spot is No Prayer for the Dying. once again, this is one of the greatest albums I've ever heard in my life, man. These boys were just kicking ass on the last two albums, man. Somewhere in Time and No Prayer for the Dying. Put those two together, man. These are some of the best albums ever, man. Best album. And I had to pick one in my number one spot. And it made my number one spot because it was more hooky. It was more, you know, it had more of the catchiness to it. Somewhere in Time was a grand feeling of a full package of an album. It had a grand feeling. I didn't really have any songs to pluck out that were really catchy and hooky. But only Heaven Can Wait. That was real catchy and hooky. But the rest of the songs was just a feeling. Now, the No Prayer for the Dying was very hooky and very grand. And it had hooks in you, hooks in me. And it had bring your daughter to the slaughter. Very hooky, very hooky. And on top of that, this was the personality king for Bruce, man. This dude was doing so many acrobats with his voice. This was his best performance on this album. This was Bruce's best performance. And if anything, when you say the word Iron Maiden, I'm gonna think about Bruce Dickinson and his performance on this album. He really sung on this album. He did more than singing. He put so much extra flavor on it. At the end of his singing, he would do a little ooh and ah and a growl and a and ah. He was doing a whole lot of extra on this album, and you get major points when you throw extra personality on your album. And I crown this album the personality king, and it's number one for me, man. It is number one for me. So yeah, man, that's my top 5 Iron Maiden albums. Put you guys top 5 down in the comments, and let's have a little discussion about it. In the meantime, let's keep it going. Out.